Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Life. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're traveling around the lower mainland, seeing Vancouver Skyline and taking the ferry to Victoria a couple of times in the summer of 1959. You may notice that this 8mm footage is a little softer than the 16mm films we usually post. That's the nature of the film. 8mm being half the size of the 16mm format, the lenses were typically smaller and the optics not quite as sharp, but cameras were more affordable than larger 16mm models. Just the same, these old reels are a delight to view all these years later, a real window into our past. Our first stop is Horseshoe Bay and a drive along the recently completed Vancouver Squamish Highway, officially named the Seaview Highway. We know it today as the Sea to Sky Highway. Boyer Island features prominently. Returning to Vancouver, we stop above the West Vancouver Yacht Club to take in the view of Eagle Island. Not something you can do safely today with the heavy, high-speed traffic. The recently completed upper levels highway had very little traffic then, but then again, Vancouver's metro population was only 614,000 people, less than a quarter of today's population. We're now visiting the Stanley Park Zoo. The zoo and its cages are just a memory today. Vancouver's skyline in 1959 was quite modest. The 17-story Hotel Vancouver was the most prominent building at 363 feet, closely followed by the Marine Building at 305 feet. Both were constructed in the 1930s. The North Shore was beginning to develop up the slopes. The Lumberman's Arch was a popular site for family photos. This unidentified ocean liner made quite a statement sailing into Vancouver Harbour that afternoon. The First Nations totem pole at Prospect Point was another highlight. It was moved to Brockton Point in 1962, along with the pole at Lumberman's Arch. A year before BC Ferries was formed, one could still take a CP ferry to Vancouver Island. CP Rail's Princess Fleet were well known to travelers from the early 1900s to 1960s. The Princess of Nanaimo was originally built as the Princess of Acadia. She would go on to serve the Digby, Nova Scotia, St. John, New Brunswick crossing in the Bay of Fundy from 1963 to 1971 before being decommissioned in 1974. A brief stop at McMillan Park, now Cathedral Grove, to take in the enormous trees. Photography can never do it justice. The Oak Bay Beach Hotel in Oak Bay still stands today, a rather high-end place to stay as it was back in the day. The Butchart Gardens was almost a mandatory stop on the tourist circuit. In these pre-technology days, we can all remember the Butchart Garden bumper stickers and tie-ons that people proudly attached to their cars, reminding everyone that they had indeed visited it, and yes, it was very nice. The gardens are truly a wonder to see. Kids, however, still prefer bunnies. The Empress Hotel. You know it's a classy place when the car park sign is engraved on a flat-sided, clear lacquered cedar log. Victoria's Inner Harbour is made for walking tours, with the stately provincial legislature, museums, and boats of all kinds in the harbour. The historic 1925-built Crystal Garden Pool still operates to this day. It's a ferry trip back to Vancouver aboard the Princess Patricia, passing an unidentified general cargo ship, long before the massive container ships of today. The historic RCMP vessel St. Roch, the little schooner that transited the Northwest Passage, appears at Kitsilano Point after her 1958 restoration, inspiring the location for the planned Vancouver Maritime Museum, which opened the following year. The family greets arriving relatives at Vancouver International Airport as they step off the Trans-Canada Airlines Super Constellation. The Lockheed Super Connie was a beautifully designed and popular aircraft, but it would be quickly retired by the original operators after the advent of the Boeing 707 and Douglas DC-8 in just a few years. We're taking in the sun at one of Vancouver's nearby rocky and driftwood-covered beaches. Another ferry trip back to Victoria. Victoria's Inner Harbour, ladies dressed up with white gloves. This was a different time, when people dressed up for almost any occasion. Long gone now, the Princess Mary restaurant ship. Her superstructure was salvaged and converted into a restaurant. As always, thank you to all the subscribers and members. There's plenty of members-only episodes to enjoy and more to come. Your support is appreciated. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Be kind, and we'll see you next time on Real Life.